honestly say this is the best episode so far. Okay, I can't say that it's the best episode. Oh my god, what am I trying to say? Okay, all right, hold on, wait. Oh, okay, let me just get my, oh, Jesus Christ. I can't. Okay, so anybody who hasn't watched this episode, please leave. Leave. Oh my god, I can't. Oh my god, stop. So annoying. Oh, okay, calm. So, so episode 6 of season 2 is so, like, full circle. Let's start. God, let's drink some orange juice. I spilled a little. All right. Gonna try to be calm. So Spear and everyone gets away on the boat, right? I'm sorry, guys, you have to deal with this. Spear gets away, he wakes up and he's like, what the frick is going on? He has like these things all over him. And we find out, well, he's like, what the frick is happening? Mira is actually taking care of them. They acknowledge that they're very injured. People are like, oh, well, how are they healing so fast? A lot of it's adrenaline. A lot of it is time jumps, but a lot of it's adrenaline when they're in the midst of what's happening. You know, I mean, these are superficial wounds because the arrows don't look like they're that deep, but at the same time, they hurt like a bitch and they can become infected. So Mira is taking care of them, and just seeing Mira take care of Spear and take care of Fang, she just fits right in with the family dynamic so well. I mean, I really missed her. I really like Mira, and she is so freaking badass. Like, she's the kind of character, like, this is how we do it, right? This is how we do it. People nowadays think, oh, well, if it's a female character, she has to belittle the man or be better than him. There is not one time, okay, there was one time where she looked better than Spear. And it wasn't that she was better than Spear, she was more experienced with certain things. When she was shooting the arrow, when she was hunting that little bird thing, I don't know what it was. But Spear was like, what the hell? But they never made it feel as though, Jendy never made it feel as though Mira's better than Spear or Spear's better than Mira. Like, they save each other, and that's how a relationship is supposed to be. I hate this narrative that, oh, well, you know, you have to put down the other person to make you look strong. That equally, on either side, it looks stupid. But what has happened is that Spear will save Mira. He busted his ass to go and save his woman. He took risks that Mira probably wouldn't have taken. Maybe she would have if she knew Spear. But at their current friendship, I don't think she would have done that. However, he went and saved her, and she decided to go with him. And in return, being part of the family, Mira more than pulls her own weight. It's very believable because she's still the female version of the species. So she's not as buff as Spear, which makes sense. Just like Fang wouldn't be as buff as a male T-Rex. But she pulls her weight for the female character. She's badass in her own right. And they show this here.
Mira? Mira.
Aww. Oh, they're so cute together. I'm such a girl. Oh, it's so adorable. I'm sorry. I just can't help it. Oh, look at his face. It's the cutest I've ever seen his face look. Oh my god. Look at how they're looking. Look. So Mira is taking care of Fang, and Fang is hurting. And as he's watching her take care of Fang, look at his face. You know what? For those of you who just, you can't be bothered, I don't blame you. Just go. Your ears are not going to get a rest anytime soon. I completely understand. I just can't hold it in. I'm so freaking excited. Oh, okay. So they're floating along. This is where Fang picks up that something is wrong. I did talk about this in my other video, the one before this. Fang starts growling. Spear detected it right after Fang, and they are attacked by the Viking father and son. And despite everything that's happening, I cannot bring myself to wish death on these people because I completely understand where the father is coming from. To them, they are the heroes in their story. It's not their fault, you know, so to speak. I understand where they're coming from, and I don't want them to die. I don't want Spear to die, and after Spear is getting beat up by this guy, I'm rooting for Spear, because I love Spear, okay? But at the same time, I don't want the father to die. I want Spear to fuck him up, but I don't want him to die, if that makes sense, right? Because you get to know things from his perspective, and he's not just a villain. He's Spear's villain, but it's ironic because Spear is also his villain. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, and this episode comes back full circle. It's so funny how it happens. And you'll see why. Come on, Spear! Yes! There is a huge fight that happens. And while the father is fighting, he sees his son named Eldar get attacked, and the entire time he is worried about his son, even while he is exacting vengeance. I did look up what VIDARR means, and apparently in Norse mythology, VIDARR is associated with the god of vengeance or war, as you can see here. So it's associated with vengeance. And it's described as the son of the god Odin, and the Jotun, Grior, and is foretold to avenge his father's death by killing the wolf Fangirling at Ragnarok, a conflict which he is describing as surviving. So it's vengeance for somebody else taking the life of somebody else that you love. Not just losing everything you have, but this guy was avenging his father's death, and these guys are avenging their entire village and their families, the wife and the little boy. Jesus Christ, she almost got decapitated right there. This brawl is so tense, and I love it because, you have no idea what's going to happen. We know that Fang and Spear are going to be okay, of course. At the same time, I don't want the father and son. I think that's the reason why I'm so like, oh my god, I don't want anything to happen, because I don't want the father and his son to die either. I want them to leave Spear alone, but I can understand where they're coming from. I mean, like I said, they killed their entire village, as well as children and women and newborns and old people. Like, these people, in their eyes, they need to die. And so from their perspective, you're like, damn it, I don't know who to root for. Like, I really don't know who to root for, but I know I don't want any of them to get hurt. I don't want the son to get hurt because he's a victim as well. And the father would be very upset, but I don't want Spear and Fang or Mira to get hurt. Like, it's like watching two people that you care about fight each other, and you're like, damn, that's one hell of a fight, but I don't want to see them die. You know what it feels like? It feels like if I were to see Godzilla and Rodan fighting each other, or Blue the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, and Rexy fighting each other, or Drogon from Game of Thrones and Viserys or Viserion. That's how it felt actually in the Game of Thrones with the dragons fighting, even though I believe it was Viserion that was turned and he was now a white. I felt bad. I didn't, even though that wasn't him anymore, it still felt odd that Drogon had to fight his brother. It's very uncomfortable. I don't know. It's very uncomfortable, and hats off for Jenny for doing that, because he made us relate to the villains, or the other Othro villains. Like, I have no idea what to even call them. Are they villains? Because, I mean, okay, from the slaver point of view, you'd be like, yes. So the boats start going haywire, and you're like, oh god, something bad's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna sink, someone's gonna die. There's just so much tension going on here. Fang ends up saving Spear, and when Fang knocks Eldar into the water, Eldar gets hurt. The father, you could see the worried look. Look at his face. You could see the worried look in his son. Like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, dude, why did you even bring your son with you? But the son is old enough. Maybe the son made his own decision, is like, I'm not staying here, Dad. What am I gonna stay here? I'm the only one in this village. I'm gonna go with you. It is our right as Vikings to fight, and that's their culture. That's how they probably grew up. The father and the son, or the men, go and they avenge their families. But he still loves his boy, and this is the last living family member he has. The last family member, and the only reason the son survived, I can guarantee you this, is because he was away with his father bringing back slaves to the village. So the father is like, we must avenge. At the same time, he cares about his son, and he doesn't want anything to happen to him because he knows once his son is gone, he loses everything. So he jumps into the water, and Mira, Spear, and Fang work together to save the ship, and Mira's a freaking badass. Spear goes to help her hold the rope, and Fang does as well. And after she does all of that, you can see Spear's face like... Damn, shouty. That look on his face, though. Fang is like, yeah, whatever. Spear is like, so when we hitting it? Oh my god, I love it. So they get to this place, like a different land, and immediately Fang is like, she's roaring and acting weird. Spear's like, where are you going? She's flying all over the place, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with her? What is she doing? What is she looking for? And for a moment there, they had me because for the moment, I'm like, is Range alive? Because, like, First of all, if he's still alive, I have some freaking questions. Second of all, if he's alive, please don't go next to him, because that's not a good sign, you know, considering we have Plague of Madness in this universe as well. Thirdly, I'm pretty sure he's not alive. He's freaking dead, bro. But she starts acting weird, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Is it time? Is it time? And I start thinking, because Range can't be alive. So I'm thinking it might be time. Look at the way her freaking legs are clenching. Like, she looks like very uncomfortable. Oh, she's digging. Yep, ready for the nest. It's time to have some babies. I told y'all that would happen. I'm so glad I put up those videos because my theory was right. I can't even really take credit for it because it was pretty freaking obvious the moment she met a male T-Rex and she bonded with him and she had babies before. It was so overwhelmingly obvious that she was going to have babies later on in life. So me really lauding that over everyone makes no sense because you'd have to be a freaking fly larva on a rock to not know that's what was going to happen. And for those who legitimately didn't know that was going to happen, you know what? You're a fly larva on a rock. But I feel so jealous of you because it would have been even more of a surprise. Then I love the look on Spear's face. His reaction to all of it when he realizes, wait a minute. Oh yeah, that boy dinosaur. Spear did understand that they were together, but I think he understood a little bit too late because he was like, well, he still has to die because he killed a whole bunch of people. But he didn't realize how much Fang really liked him to that degree until way after. And that's why he left the village because he felt like, oh, it's my fault that I killed him. And when he saw how sad Fang was, he's like, I can't, yeah. I owe it to her to take care of her because I killed Range. And you imagine, like, what would it be like if Range were still alive and he could take care of those babies too? He would have been a great father, though. But he would have gotten himself killed, especially around other humans. But he would have been a good father. So this reaction from Spear is just so adorable. Aww! Look at his face! The Sphere is so much like me. Like, that would totally be me. If that were my pet, I would totally be like, whatever you need, my love. What do you want me to rub your eyeballs for you and lick them? I will do that. I will do that. You want me to put my finger in your asshole so you're more comfortable? I will do that. I will do anything for my pets if they ask me to do it. They wouldn't ask me to do that. Shut up. Anyway, you get exactly what I'm saying. Like, I can really relate to Spear because that would be exactly my reaction. Even though I would have caught on a lot more, I would have tried not to kill her boyfriend after she asked me several times to not kill him. Can you imagine what it would have been like if Range were a part of this group? I'm pretty sure Range is so wild, he would have tried killing Spear several times. But the fact that, okay, he's a male dinosaur too, so that's another thing. But the fact that Spear is really good with animals and Range really loves Fang, I really think that over time, Range and Spear would become friends or at least have some kind of understanding. Especially since Range listens to Fang, that's his woman, he loves her. He would know that, okay, these specific humans, don't touch them. I can kill all the other humans, but don't touch these ones right here. So then he tells her, you sit down, you don't do anything. I will do all the work. I'll go get the nest. He starts taking leaves, and you can just imagine what Spear was like with his woman. I think it's so cute, and I know, as a woman, Mira is looking at this, and she's like, he's gonna make such a good father. He's so good with her. That's how he treats women when they're pregnant. Like, biologically, that's what women think. That's why when women see men with animals or with children, it automatically makes you as a man more hotter in their eyes. It's so stupid, but it's the truth. Like, we can't help it as women. It just is what it is. I don't want kids personally, but if I do see a guy who's good with animals, like if I wasn't single, and I saw a guy that was good with animals, I'd be like, aw, that means he'll love animals and not like kill mine. But that's what Mira is thinking. Without saying it, I can tell you for a fact. That's also a trick. If you don't want a girl hooking onto you, like let's say you're with someone and you don't want her around, you're like, you know what, I'm trying to get away from this relationship. When you're around kids or animals, don't make much of them. That's gonna make it worse for you, dude. Just Just act indifferent. Moreover, just be direct and tell her, look, your snatch stinks. I don't like you. Go away. It will hurt her feelings, but being direct is the best thing to get someone to get away from you. It's best that you make them hate you than you sit there and lead them on. And that's coming from me, you know, who doesn't like hurting people's feelings and will just try everything else instead of telling them directly to get away from me because I don't want to hurt their feelings. But you as a guy, it should be easier for you. Anyway, Mira is very touched by this. It's very sweet. And we get this momentary break because Spear, Fang, and Mira even have not gotten a break for a while. The Viking father rescues his son. His son is bleeding. The father is also bleeding as Eldar realizes, and they kind of take care of each other. As the father is watching over his boy, you could see his eyes get really dark. And then he remembers, you know, what has happened with his family. And then this thing comes out from the fire, and he's hallucinating or dreaming this. But I think this thing here is VIDARR. This is the god of vengeance, the god that is driving him. It's why the father has exactly the same expression in his eyes as the monster does in its eyes. He is now consumed by the god of vengeance, which is what's pushing him forward, which is why near the end of the episode, the son, Eldar, and his father say to each other, VIDARR. Basically them saying, for vengeance, for vengeance. That's part of their culture. So that's probably the thing that we saw that was sitting in the throne room. Maybe it's a real god. I don't know why we saw that in one of the teasers for Primal, but that's what we got. What I like is while this guy is eating, he's having flashbacks of his family eating. And he is just so beside himself that he has to walk away from the camp for a second, and it's really freaking sad. But as you guys said, it comes back full circle because remember, Spear went through this. He had dinosaurs, theropods, eat his whole family, and those theropods weren't trying to be mean. They were trying to survive. They were just like, look, we're just eating. Food is available, let's eat. There's like 4 of us. One that's freaking huge. It's like 6 times the size we are. We need to eat. And then, you know, they come in, they're like, oh, we smell something. Let's go chase something down and kill it. And Spear is just, he was consumed by vengeance to the point where he almost killed Fang. And after he decided to help Fang because he saw her and her babies, he would have been doing exactly the same thing to her as those dinosaurs did to him. So Spear opted to save them against the other dinosaurs that were the ones responsible for killing his family. And then Spear and Fang tried to save their friend Mira, and by going there to the village, they end up becoming the villains in these people's story, which is exactly the same type of villain that Spear and Fang were victims to. And so it was not long ago that Spear was sitting by the fire, remembering and doing the same thing that this guy is doing. So you see the contrast here. I mean, back then he directed it at Fang against all dinosaurs, but this guy feels the same way against not only Spear, but Fang and dinosaurs in general, probably. Maybe even more so towards Fang and Spear, I should say, because he is more close to human. If this were any other animal that did this, bear, wolf, whatever it was, he would have been doing the same thing. He would have gone after it and killed it. We do that today. If there's an alligator, an animal that goes and kills babies or something, people go after it and kill it. Because the one thing they don't want to do is, yes, it's for vengeance, but another thing, they don't want that thing procreating with others and having that temperament to want to go after and kill human beings. So after the son comforts his father, they have an idea when they hear these large vulture-like birds. And this is the part that is so sweet. Fang is ready to lay her eggs, and it is the beauty of birth. Now, I don't know if dinosaurs, when they lay eggs, it hurts. I know some chickens, when they're laying eggs, they make that noise because it's painful, because you're shoving a huge round object through your cloaca. So I'm pretty sure that part of it is painful as they get older, or they do it enough. I think it gets easier on them. But I used to wonder, like, why do they strain so much and make that like that weird noise that they make. It's so annoying. And then I realized, you know, when I was growing up, I was like, oh, they're probably in pain when they're doing it. Birds do feel pain, don't you know? So Fang going through this is going to feel pain, even though this is the second time that she's having this clutch. And we get to see the beauty of birth. Oh my god. Boy right there. Like, he doesn't even look his age. It's such a wonderment. And I like how Mira was telling him, leave it alone. She's got it. She can do this. Let her do it. It's her womanly thing. It's natural for her to be alone as she's doing it. I'm pretty sure if Spear had run up in that moment with his panicky energy, that would have made Fang more stressed. So I'm really glad that Mira was here when this happened, because as a woman, she's like, okay, she's got it. If she's in trouble, she'll probably let you know, but right now, she's okay. And what's beautiful is that Spear is living through this again because he's already gone through this with his wife. Like, we forget that Spear had a family before, even though we keep mentioning it. We never really think about Spear with his previous wife, the woman that he loved, who probably was a lot like Mira and very badass. And she had 2 children. So 2 times Spear has gone through this with his family, where he had to be there to deliver his wife's babies. He was waiting there with his catcher's mitt, ready to catch his sons, or his son and daughter, or whatever they are, and brought them outside and made them feel the sunlight for the first time and just rejoiced over them. So Spear is really, he's so adorable. Like, he is such a man's man. Like, he is masculine and strong and willing to throw his life on the line to protect those he loves, but yet he is gentle and caring and sweet when he needs to be. He's not a simp, but he's not one of those insecure macho types either. He is what I would call the epitome of masculinity. It's just perfect. And Mira is the epitome of femininity. She's still able to be a warrior and a badass and protect her man and protect those that she loves and nurture and care and fight for those that she loves and lead them when she needs to. But yet she's still elegant and sweet and caring. And it's just so sweet to see this dynamic of people in their natural element. Like, it's so sweet. Want to continue watching some eggs pop out of her cloaca? Right here, I was so happy because I'm like, oh my god, is she going for a 3rd egg? Because if she's having 3 babies, she had 2 before. If she's having 3 babies, I would be so happy. And I cannot wait to see them because I have a really big feeling that one of them's gonna look like Range. Push, Fang. There you go. Oh my god. Oh god, that made me cry. My partner, by the way, was so uncomfortable watching this. He's like, really? They gotta do that? They gotta go up close? I'm like, yeah! Yes, why not? That's the birth of life. Seeing her bear these babies is so sweet. Like, I don't know. It's so sweet. I love it. So Fang goes to inspect her 3 little babies, and I know that Spear is just like beside himself, waiting to go and touch these baby eggs and just see them for the first time. And the first thing I'm thinking is, Spear, be careful, because I would not put it past Fang trying to attack you while you went close to these eggs. When she's in mommy mode, she's not going to want anyone close to those eggs. So she's very happy, and he's very happy for her, and he can't wait to see these children. Aw, and he's like, come here, come to Uncle, let me see them. I love how Fang is like, you're not touching. What are you freaking doing? Oh, I love it. I love it so much. This is the best episode. Oh my god. Yes. Yes. But now I am so happy, but also freaking worried because, like, I don't want Fang to lose these babies too. Like, that would be freaking hurtful. And my partner is a cynic, and he's like, oh no, you know what's gonna happen, right? Fang's not only gonna lose her babies, and maybe one will be left, but she might lose all of them. But Spear might lose Mira too. I was so angry with him. Like, why would you say that? Why would you say that? If I were the writer, I probably, you know, maybe. Listen, I'm really evil when I write stuff. But anyway, realistically, maybe one of the eggs would survive, you know, for dramatization. Like, oh my god, all the babies are gone, but one survived! Just like Dinosaur 2000. I can see something like that happening. But poor Fang, oh my god, to go through that again? I know that most animals from mothers who've had their babies hurt or taken away or hurt by something, they're a lot more wary when it comes to future situations. I know that dogs are very protective over their pups. It's now an instinct for mother dogs to not let the fathers go near the pups when they're at a certain age. And people always think that they're mean and they're being, you know, ungrateful or whatever the case is, but that's not why. It's because a lot of father dogs kill their puppies when they're at a certain age. And the mother dogs instinctively know this, and that's why mom keeps dad away from the babies. You may think it's mean, and oh, she's not letting the father see his pups. How horrible, she won't let him see the kids. That's because that usually if she does let him see the kids, he will kill them. At first glance, everyone thinks the mothers are being divas and they're not being rational, but there is a reason. In many cases, regardless of whether or not the offspring is the male's, he might attack his own offspring so that he can breed with the mother again. Creatures such as stallions might kill foals, especially young males, if they're not 100% certain that that child is theirs. It's less commonplace. There are even some times when mares will try to go out and mate with other stallions of other herds. And even though the stallion stays close by his herd, he can't ever fully be sure that the foals are his. And sometimes, if he is given the opportunity, he will kill a foal. This opportunity is way more likely if the foal is found outside of his herd, or if he takes over a band of mares from another stallion and kills all the foals there because he realizes they're not part of his original herd.
The mares try to stop him.
It seems very cruel, but this has even happened within herds where the fathers are the fathers of the foal. With feral and domesticated dogs, this happens a lot too. Because anything can happen around this stage, it makes complete sense why Fang and most mothers, especially if they've lost children before, it makes sense for them to be very protective of their eggs or their offspring. Fang doesn't want to risk Spear accidentally falling on top of it or something. The possessive trait is seen as very cute, but it's also there to function in the favor of the survival of the offspring.
VIDARR. VIDARR.
The god of vengeance. They're doing this for vengeance. Why did I say it like that? Even still, them being warriors, you could tell the father's still concerned about his son when the son does something risky.
Eldar.
I like his father's reaction. He's like, what he calls out his name. It's so freaking great. The voice actors on this are so amazing. But you know what's funny? My partner made a joke and said this is basically How to Train Your Dragon when Spear was touching Fang right after she gave birth. And he's like, you went from How to Train Your Dragon to How to Train Your Dinosaur, which is basically what this is. And then I found it very hilarious that we have a bunch of Vikings that are trying to train these creatures with wings in the same way the Vikings in How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, come on now. You don't see the coincidence? Okay. So they each get their own vultures and tie ropes around their neck to control them. They each got their mounts. That's how I felt whenever I was playing my MMOs, dude. Like, as soon as we get the mounts, we're like, yeah, we got our mounts, holy shit. By the way, I hate you guys. I hate you developers for canceling Dragon's Dogma. It was the only MMO that I really, really, really liked. And as soon as I started playing it, when I found out about the game, it got canceled. So thanks a lot for that. Fang must feel so good that Spear's taking care of her. He's just waiting on her hand and foot. And remember when we met Fang, she did not have a mate. Maybe her mate died. Maybe he smashed and passed. I don't know. But Fang was alone. She was single. She's the one who had to leave her babies and come back. And I'm not really sure how it works in this universe, but I can imagine that T-Rexes, just like they probably would have in real life, would stay together as a mated pair, just like birds today, many of them, and take care of their offspring together. Whether the male would have stayed with her after that, probably, but I have a strong feeling that because the babies are so vulnerable, the male and female would either take turns hunting, or, like in many bird species, the female would stay and watch the eggs while the male would go out and get food. He would have been the one getting food to bring back to Fang. He would have been the one fighting those red T-Rexes while Fang was trying to protect her babies. That male probably would have died trying to protect them. And it's clear that Fang was alone when the babies were born, as we saw in her flashback. So the male was killed way before then. Mira is just like looking at Spear. Like you could tell she's really, really into him. She's just staring at him from around the corner as she's fixing the ship, watching him treat Fang like she's his wife. And I know, like I said, she's probably like, he's so hot. Look at him. Look at how sweet he is. Oh my god. But it's like they can't catch a break, because as soon as Spear comes back and gives Fang the food, here come the father and son. And I'm thinking to myself, they're so annoying. Look at Spear, like, taking care of the nest. Mira's already on top of it. She starts loading up her arrow, and Spear is just protecting the eggs, while Fang is also standing over him in the nest. She's not moving from the nest, and these things are scratching her, and I'm just thinking to myself, they're so annoying. But then I have to remember, these people lost their entire village to Fang and Spear. So as annoying as they are, you know, it's kind of, you know, yeah. There's also something that happens that's very important here. It's an important dynamic. When I saw it, I didn't understand what was happening at first, because we were like, oh, she's just checking on her eggs to make sure they're okay. But that's not what's happening here. This is what's happening in this scene specifically. When Spear gets caught by this vulture, even though he's doing all to protect Fang, check out what happens next. This is right when Mira gets brought away. But do you know why Fang did that? She was looking at her eggs, yes, to make sure they were okay. She knew her legs were okay. That's not really why she was looking at them. She was looking at them because she was fighting her instinct to protect Spear and to protect her eggs. And her instinct as a mother to protect her eggs won over trying to protect Spear. Plus, Spear was fine, but I do think in that moment, if the vulture had grabbed Spear and gone off with him, Fang would have been like, oh my god, that is so freaking sad. Goodbye, I'm sorry, but she was not going to leave her eggs. When it comes down to it, Fang is a mother first. Not knowing what's happening with Spear, she's like, he could be getting mauled, but I'm not leaving these freaking eggs. Her instinct to protect her children is now at the moment higher than protecting Spear. And the only reason she even was like that with Spear is because Spear was a remnant of her children. She went out of that cave after just losing her children because he is the last memory that she had of them. They were playing with him before they all got attacked. Their smell was still on him. And as a mother dinosaur creature, usually what happens when those creatures lose their babies, they still have that maternal instinct that's going on within their bodies. They can't help it, so they try to replace their nest with something else that they need. And that thing was Spear. And they became pack mates. Rather, instead, it became more of a partnership because Spear didn't act like a baby. I'm sure if he acted like a little baby bird, she would have treated him like that, but he's his own thing. Fang wanted to have company. She needs to be with someone. She didn't want to be alone. They both lost someone, and she realized that he was a member of the family because he was willing to risk his life to save her children. The other reason Fang is standing there is because Spear is acting as the masculine counterpart to their partnership. Had a male T-Rex been in this equation, he would be the one also getting killed or protecting Fang and the babies fighting as she's guarding the eggs. That's actually the whole purpose. In this video from Charter Group, you can see the same thing happen with these owls. In the back, the mother, the one that's laying down, is the one who's lying on the eggs. The father is usually the one that brings food back for the mom, feeds her, and then she feeds the babies. She's always staying on the nest. Like, when there is, well, I mean, sometimes when the babies are born, that will happen. They'll both leave, and they'll try to, you know, the mother probably will lay on them for a little while, but she'll go out and help the father to feed the babies. But when they're eggs, it's a very fragile time for them. Anything can happen to disrupt the development of the egg, so it's very imperative, especially with the temperature regulation for the eggs, for the mother to stay on the eggs at all costs. So just take a look at what happens when the father owl and mother owl are attacked by a kestrel that gets into their nest. Attacked the wrong nest, but you start to rethink your decisions. Notice how the mother never moves from her position of being right on top of the eggs. That is exactly the same stance that Fang has over her eggs while Spear is fighting the enemy. Notice the female in the back. She never leaves her eggs. She always has a defensive posture over her eggs. And even though she is warding off the kestrel, she is like, nope, I'm not moving from here. I'm gonna spread out my wings to keep the kestrel from knocking into me or knocking me away from the area or knocking into the eggs. While the father is away. The father could be getting his throat slit by this bird for all she cares. She's not leaving the eggs. And even if she were the one fighting, she would not leave her eggs unless she's dragged away from the area. That is the purpose of the father bird when there is a couple or a breeding pair. So that exactly is the function of Fang here. I mean, that is her motherly instinct to protect her eggs, but that is also the natural role of the male Tyrannosaurus in this universe, and Spear is, well, he's already assumed that role whether he likes it or not, because he started taking care of her and bringing her food and bringing her nesting material, which is exactly what the male T-Rex probably would have done. He'd do a freaking Ghidorah. And is like, let me drop you from the freaking sky, bro, because that's what you do. But Mira's a badass, and she fights for her life. Spear also fights for his life, and the father is outnumbered, but I love how Spear and Mira are just like this power couple, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The father gets yeeted off the bird, and honestly, seeing Eldar's face as he watches his father fall to his death, that just broke my heart, bro. Like, I know that it's not their fault per se, but it's still very sad, especially seeing how much they love each other. It's just, I just wish, I'm like, please don't let them get hurt. Just go away and live your life. Just leave them alone. But then you're like, okay, well, justice needs to be served, right? Like, John Wick, would you have been saying, John Wick, just leave those guys alone? They killed your puppy and whatever. Just leave them alone. Like, you wouldn't be saying that to John Wick, so it's kind of unfair to say that to these guys, but it's like, you don't want them to get hurt. Jesus. One thing I'll give the show is they do a good job at making you feel the physics. If that makes any sense, like the sound design and the visuals, they make you realize, oh, this person is falling really hard and fast. Like, there's some movies and some shows where someone's falling out of the sky, and when they land like... But in this show, you really feel as though they've hit their skull and it's cracked open. So, you know, the son is still up there trying to fight them. He thinks his father's probably dead. And I feel so bad for him. And I feel bad for the father because he's still alive. And he is watching his son battle, putting his life at risk, thinking that his dad is dead. Unfortunately, you know, live by the sword, die by the sword. I guess in this case is live by the bird, die by the bird. Maybe he's okay. Maybe he's fine. They're Vikings. They're okay, right? He's okay. He's okay. His dad's gonna go. He's gonna see him. Never mind that there was a freaking smorgasbord and water fountain of blood that erupted when he landed. He's okay. Stop freaking out. He's fine. He's fine. They always do this in the freaking shows to build up drama and whatnot. Oh, dear God. Okay, maybe he's not, but let's say a prayer. Maybe he's okay. Oh no. Oh dear God. His arm looks broken. I mean, there's still a chance that he could say goodbye to his father. And he splattered really hard on that freaking rock. Can you imagine what's going through the father's head right now? I mean, what did you expect was going to happen when you guys go off? Like, these people single-handedly killed every warrior in your village and everybody else in your village by themselves. What else did you think was going to happen when you two went after them alone? That was so freaking sad, bro. Oh my God. Why didn't they... Oh my God, that's so heartbreaking. As Fang sees the two birds coming back, she growls because she thinks it's the enemies, until she sees Mira and Spear on top of them. Finally, the birds are free, and Spear is so happy. The eggs are okay, and Fang is like... That's close enough! I am so happy. And so the rest of the adventure is gonna be Fang with her babies, and now Fang is going to be with Spear and Mira. Now she has an even bigger family, not just 3 babies. She's got 3 babies now, but she's also got 2 helpers. And it's going to be amazing. You're gonna have a family of dinosaurs that are gonna grow up with humans. And this is freaking Fred Flintstone and what's his wife's name again? Vilma, I think. Yeah, his wife Vilma and Dino. Like, this is just how it all started. And they're gonna have dinosaurs in the... What if this is a precursor to the Flintstones? Wouldn't that be awesome? So they still have their ship, and I can't wait to see what adventures are going to happen next. I really hope that my partner's wrong and that we're not going to lose Mira and the babies, because that would be freaking tragic. Again, I hope that, well, now the stakes are higher because now we have the babies to worry about, which is very scary. You're worried about Fang and Spear, but for the most part, you know, okay, I don't want to see them get hurt. They still get hurt, but you know, they're kind of okay. You don't know if the babies are going to be okay because they've already killed off the babies in the first part, the first season, first episode. So we don't know what's going to happen with these ones. And there's 3 of them. So it's like, yay, more to kill, you know? I'm just so scared. I'm nervous, but I am so happy. This episode was amazing.